Good morning, friends. And if you're watching this later in the day, good afternoon. Let's get right into it because today's topic isn't just news. For many people, it's rent money, it's grocery money, it's the power bill, it's medication you cannot skip. And when that deposit doesn't appear exactly when you expect it, your whole day can feel like it's spinning. Today is a Wednesday deposit alert. And yes, Social Security deposits and certain VA-related deposits are showing up in accounts now for many recipients. Some people are seeing the money available, some people are seeing it pending, and some people are still seeing nothing at all. This message is for Social Security retirees, SSDI beneficiaries, survivors including widows and widowers, disabled Americans, caregivers, and anyone living on a fixed income who depends on these monthly deposits to keep life stable. If that's you, I want you to breathe with me for a second because the most important thing I can say right at the start is this. Seeing pending is not the same as being denied. Seeing nothing yet is not the same as being canceled. And the timing differences you're watching today are usually a bank processing issue, not a personal problem you caused. I'm going to keep this clear and calm. I'm going to walk you through why Wednesday matters, who is typically paid on Wednesdays, why two people with the same type of benefit can be paid hours apart, and what you can do if your money truly does not show up after the standard window. And please stay with me, because the middle section of this report is the part that actually stops panic. That's where we break down the exact payment groups and explain why deposits land at different times depending on your bank. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss important deposit updates and explanations like this. And in the comments, tell me your city and your state. It helps paint a real picture of what's happening across the country in real time, because posting patterns can look different from one bank network to another and from one region to another. Now let's begin with the big question everyone is asking this morning. Why are some people seeing their Social Security deposit right now while others aren't? Here's the simplest answer. The federal government releases the funds on schedule, but your bank controls when the funds become available in your account. And that gap, that space between release and availability, is where anxiety grows. For millions of Americans, Wednesday is not just the middle of the week. It's deposit day. It's the day the system moves monthly income from the federal pipeline into personal accounts. And when you're on a fixed income, timing is not a small detail. Timing is everything. A few hours can decide whether the rent clears on time or bounces. A few hours can decide whether you can refill your heart medication today or you have to wait until tomorrow. A few hours can decide whether you buy groceries now or you sit there doing the math and hoping you can stretch what's left. So when people wake up and see nothing, fear is automatic. And I want to say this with respect, that fear is understandable. It's not overreacting. It's what happens when your margin is tight and the world is expensive. But here is what fear can do. It can turn normal processing into a crisis story in your mind. And social media makes it worse because someone posts, "Mine hit." And suddenly it feels like you're the only one left behind. You're not. Let's talk about the real process, the real chain of events. This is the part that people rarely explain clearly. First, the Social Security Administration authorizes payments. That means SSA confirms the amount and the schedule and sends the instruction. Second, the U.S. Treasury releases the funds. The Treasury sends money out in large batches through the federal payment system. Third, banks receive those batches and post them to individual accounts. And this is the step that varies the most, because the Treasury can send the funds, but banks decide when to credit them to you as spendable money. So on the same exact payment date, one bank might post funds immediately at or near midnight. Another bank might post early morning. Another might post midday. Another might post late afternoon. Another might show pending and then flip to available after settlement. That is the reality. It's not a rumor. It's not guesswork. It is simply how federal payments travel through different financial institutions. And this is why two neighbors with the same benefit type can see money at different times. It's why a friend in another state can say, "I got it," while you're staring at a balance that hasn't moved. It doesn't automatically mean your payment is missing. It often means your bank is on a different internal posting cycle. Now let's talk about the Wednesday payment groups, because this is where clarity starts. Social Security retirement and SSDI payments often follow a Wednesday schedule based on your birth date unless you fall into a special group. The structure is usually like this. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment is scheduled for the second Wednesday of the month. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your payment is scheduled for the third Wednesday of the month. If your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your payment is scheduled for the fourth Wednesday of the month. This schedule applies to many people receiving retirement benefits, SSDI, and some survivor benefits. And when it's your scheduled Wednesday, the Treasury releases the funds on that date. But again, your bank controls when you can use them. Now, there are important exceptions, and I'm going to go through them carefully because confusion often happens here. One exception is the group that began receiving Social Security before May 1997. Many in that group are usually paid on the third day of the month, rather than a Wednesday schedule. So if you started benefits before May 1997, your deposit pattern may not match what people are describing on Wednesday deposit day. Another exception is SSI. SSI is typically paid on the first of the month, and if the first falls on a weekend or a holiday, it can arrive earlier. SSI is not primarily tied to the Wednesday birth date cycle. So if you receive SSI only and you don't see a Wednesday deposit, that does not automatically mean a problem. It may simply mean you are on a different track. And VA benefits have their own structure. VA compensation and pensions are generally paid on the first business day of the month, but many banks, depending on the institution, may credit those deposits early. So when you see people talking about VA deposits hitting early, that's often a bank courtesy posting, not a change in the official VA schedule. Now here is the key phrase I want you to remember today. Release is not the same as posting. The Treasury releases the funds. Your bank posts the funds. Those are two separate actions. The Treasury releases funds in large batches. Banks receive those batches and then assign them to individual accounts. Some banks choose to credit early, some wait for final settlement, some show pending first, some clear it all at once. And SSA cannot force your bank to post faster. SSA cannot override a bank's overnight settlement process, internal batch timing, or fraud screening protocols. So if you see your deposit pending, that can mean the bank has received the incoming payment but has not finished processing it into your available balance. Now let's talk about why pending shows up for some people and not others. Different banks have different systems. Some banks process incoming ACH deposits continuously. Others process in batches at specific times of day. Credit unions sometimes post at different times than national banks, but it can go either way. Some large banks post quickly, and some smaller institutions take longer, or vice versa. Even within the same bank, posting may be influenced by settlement windows, account type, and internal verification triggers. So it is entirely possible that someone with the same benefit amount, the same payment schedule, and even the same birthday group sees their money earlier or later than you do. And friends, none of that means you failed. None of that means you messed something up. It means your bank is doing what banks do, processing. Now, I want to speak directly to groups that often feel extra stress on deposit day, because your situation can look slightly different, and that difference can feel scary if no one explains it. Let's talk about widows and widowers receiving survivor benefits. Survivor benefits often follow the same Wednesday schedule as retirement benefits, unless you are in the pre-May 1997 group. So yes, many widows and widowers are part of the Wednesday payment cycle. If your payment schedule places you in today's group, your money can be moving right now, even if it hasn't appeared in your available balance yet. Now let's talk about disabled adult children, often called DAC. These are adults who became disabled before age 22 and receive benefits on a parent's record. Their payment timing typically follows the schedule of the primary beneficiary's record. So if the parent's record is on the Wednesday cycle, the DAC deposit often follows that same timing. Again, timing differences come down to bank posting behavior. Now let's talk about SSI couples. If both you and your spouse receive SSI, your deposits are usually tied to the SSI schedule. Normally the first of the month or earlier due to weekends or holidays, not the Wednesday birth date structure. So if you are an SSI couple and you don't see a Wednesday deposit, that may be normal. It may not be a sign that something has gone wrong. Now, dual beneficiaries, people who receive both SSI and SSDI, this is where confusion can be intense. Because you may have two different schedules in your household budget. One payment may arrive on the 1st and another may arrive on a Wednesday based on the birth date schedule. And those payments can sometimes appear on separate days, especially around weekends and holidays. So if you're dual eligible, be careful not to compare your situation to someone receiving only one benefit type. Now, those receiving both VA and Social Security. These are two separate systems. They may both be funded through Treasury, but they are processed differently and can be posted differently by your bank. One may show up first and the other may show up later. That does not mean either one is missing. And representative payee accounts. If someone manages your benefits and the deposit goes into a dedicated account, some institutions apply additional internal review steps. That can sometimes delay when the funds become available. It does not automatically mean the payment is blocked or suspended. It can simply be the bank completing its procedures. Now let's address the noise online, because misinformation spreads fastest on deposit days. You might see posts claiming there is a nationwide delay, or that checks are being withheld, or that SSA changed the schedule overnight, or that banks are blocking deposits. Friends, here is the reality. There is no confirmed official announcement of a nationwide delay for scheduled Wednesday Social Security payments. There is no official statement from SSA or the Treasury saying that payments are being withheld. There is no new rule saying deposits are canceled. What is happening is normal payment flow plus normal bank posting differences, and social media amplifies the fear because it turns individual experiences into sweeping claims. One person's funds are available, another person's funds are pending, another person's funds will show later in the day. That is not a crisis. That is processing. Now let's talk calmly about what you should do today. First, check your bank app and look for pending deposits or scheduled transactions. Some banks list incoming deposits in a separate area. Some banks show them only inside account details. Second, check your My Social Security account. You may be able to see payment status information there, depending on your account and what is available. Third, verify your direct deposit details are correct, especially if you recently changed banks or updated routing or account numbers. Fourth, if you recently moved, changed address, or changed something important in your SSA profile, know that those changes can sometimes trigger verification steps. Now, what if it truly does not show up? Here is the standard guidance many people follow, the 3 business day window. If your scheduled payment date passes and then 3 full business days pass with no deposit and no pending status, that is when it becomes reasonable to contact Social Security for help. But friends, do not panic on day 1. A delay of hours is often just bank timing. Even a delay into the next morning can still be normal, depending on your bank's processing cycle. If you do need to contact SSA after the standard window, be prepared so the call is smoother. Have your Social Security number ready. Have your bank routing number and account number. Have your most recent benefit amount. And know the date your payment is normally due. Common reasons for short delays can include bank holidays, internal bank posting cycles, account verification procedures, or recent changes to direct deposit or personal information. And again, a short delay does not automatically mean suspension. It does not automatically mean an overpayment hold. It often resolves without any action from you. Now I want to take a moment to speak to the emotional reality, because deposit day stress is not just financial, it's personal. Many of you are doing everything right and still feeling squeezed. Food costs are up, utility bills are heavy, rent increases feel relentless, medications can be painfully expensive. And when you are living on a fixed income, you don't have endless room for surprises. So when a deposit is late by hours, your body reacts like it's a danger signal. If that's you today, please hear this. You are not alone. Your anxiety makes sense, and you deserve clear information, not fear. And you also deserve to remember something important. These benefits are not charity. You worked, you contributed, you earned them. Now, while we're here, I want to share a few practical support reminders, because sometimes deposit day stress is part of a bigger budget squeeze, and there may be programs that help. If your income changed recently, SSA 44 can be relevant in some circumstances, especially related to certain Medicare-related adjustments. For help with Medicare costs, look into Medicare savings programs such as QMB, SLMB, and QI, depending on eligibility. For prescription help, explore Extra Help, also known as the Low-Income Subsidy for Part D. If heating or cooling costs are heavy in your home, check LEHEAP assistance in your state. If food is tight, review SNAP eligibility guidelines for your household. Even if you were denied before, changes in income or expenses can change eligibility. And if you prefer to have taxes withheld from your Social Security payments, voluntary withholding through a W-4V can be an option for some recipients. Now, a very important safety warning on deposit days. SSA will not call demanding gift cards. SSA will not threaten arrest over the phone. SSA will not contact you out of nowhere and demand your full Social Security number and bank details in a panic-inducing call. Scammers know people are stressed on deposit days. They use fear. They use urgency. Do not let anyone pressure you. If a call feels threatening or rushed, stop, breathe, and verify through official channels. Now let's bring it back to today's Wednesday deposits and what you should expect. If today is your scheduled Wednesday, your money is moving through the system. If you see it pending, that means it's in the pipeline and likely waiting on bank settlement steps. If you do not see it yet, that does not automatically mean it is missing. Many banks post at different times throughout the day. Some post in the evening, some post overnight, and the funds show the next morning. So here's the calm plan for today. Check in the morning, check midday, check late afternoon, check again before bedtime, and if needed, check again tomorrow morning. You are not behind because someone else posted a screenshot. You are not being singled out. You are likely waiting on your bank's posting cycle. And friends, if your anxiety is climbing, take this sentence and hold it like an anchor. Release can be on time even if posting is delayed. That's the truth of the system. Looking ahead, payment schedules remain stable for now. If there were any major changes, they would require official SSA policy updates, Treasury processing changes, and in some cases, congressional action or broader administrative coordination. Those are not quiet changes that happen overnight without formal communication. So if you see viral claims saying everything changed today, approach that with caution. Most of the time, what changed is not the schedule. It's the conversation online. Now, before I close, I want to speak directly to anyone watching who is scared right now. If your rent is due and you're staring at a balance that hasn't moved, that is a heavy feeling. If you need medication and you're waiting on a deposit, that is real stress. If you're caring for someone and you're trying to hold everything together, you are carrying a lot. You deserve reassurance grounded in facts. And here are the facts again, clear and simple. SSA authorizes payments. Treasury releases funds. Banks post deposits. Banks do not all post at the same time. Pending often means received, but not settled. Lack of visibility early in the day is often a processing delay, not a cancellation. And the standard guidance many people follow is to allow up to 3 business days before escalating, unless you have a confirmed account issue. If this report helped you feel even a little calmer, let me know. Comment your state so we can track patterns. And if you want more updates like this, calm, clear, and focused on what matters, subscribe so you don't miss the next deposit explanation. Take care of yourself today. Drink some water, eat something if you can. And remember, you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. And if today is your deposit day, your money is moving through the system, even if your bank is taking its time showing it. I'll keep watching the updates and patterns people report, and I'll keep explaining what it means in plain English so you can make decisions without panic. And friends, you've got this.